Yo, okay, I've just tried to make this video 2 times. First time I didn't have my mic on and I went for 20 minutes, which was frustrating. And the second time, my picture was too big and you couldn't see the screen. So now let's do it right. So, um, yeah, so this two and a half weeks so far has been good. I've stuck to my rules except for Monday, which I slightly bent them, but I'm not gonna beat myself up too much about that because I managed it really well. And once I'd realised that I wasn't confident in the trade, I got out of it, and it was a tiny risk anyway. So I only lost like 0.25% when sometimes I risk 2%. So like in the grand scheme of things, I have been sticking to my rules. Um, the thing that has been frustrating for me has been that I haven't took that many trades in this amount of time, and that does come down to it being my own fault because I've been waiting for too much perfection, and this is what I'm going to talk about in this video. This is what I've been trying to make a video about, but I've been waiting for too much perfection, and what I need to realize is that I need to find that balance between feeling confident but also just entering a trade because I think it will go anywhere. And that's not just fling it. That's what I made a mistake with on Monday. Like, I was trying to find that balance and I didn't back test it, and I need to back test stuff before I just take it into the market. But I felt confident. I had an idea where the trade was going to go on Monday, but I wasn't super confident in it, and I just flung into it. Luckily, like I was saying, I did very, very, very low risk. But today, I was looking at dodgy videos and looking at Dodgy's videos, and trying to figure out what it is that makes him confident in a trade. And he's a sick trader anyway. Like, this guy can just, like, he knows where the price is going. Like, he's really good at bias and just everything. Like, he's really fucking good at it. And it's hard to learn from him because he's that good. But one thing that I was picking up one no, not even from Dodgy. Okay, so I was back testing just now, trying to let me just start going into this. So I was back testing just now, looking at trying to get um looking at I was practicing like looser stop losses, right? So I'm looking at my thing. I'm not really that bothered about drawing liquidity. I'm just looking at ideas, practicing with stop losses. And I was getting more and more frustrated because I was taking losses and getting hot headed and getting a bit irritable because I wasn't focusing on the rest of my rules that define a good trade. Because in my head I'm like, my rules have been slowing me down, but they haven't. They've been keeping me safe. And what I need to realize is that there's safe, and then there's just you can still be safe but also move forward. Like, I feel like last week I was safe and it kind of paralyzed me to the point that I wasn't looking forward to going to trading. I was more nervous because I didn't want to lose, whereas I needed to figure that middle ground. But basically I was getting really frustrated here, and then I decided that I need to just focus on my rules and focus on drawing liquidity, which I've also realised drawing liquidity is another word for me for time frame alignment, right? So this is what I was going to say in this video. Time frame alignment is the number one thing that gives any trade its conviction. Doesn't matter what you're trading, if your time frames are agreeing, that's always going to be the highest conviction that you can get, right? But what I'm trying to say is it doesn't have to be perfect. So here, after taking losses, and I think I started the session with minus 1,500 and I ended up with minus 1,200. So I made a tiny bit, but it's pretty much break even in my opinion, that is. But after that, I realised, okay, let me just do what I do. right? So I'm like, cool. 1 hour, respected this gap. Let me just play this out now. Let me just let this play out. I know this isn't the trade I'm talking about. Where am I talking about? Alright, this is where I got annoyed. Okay, cool. So 1 hour, respecting this gap. So I'm like, okay, time draws higher. Got equal highs on this 1 hour here. There was a 1 hour gap there. Cool. 4 hour. There's my draw. This is just aligning time frames. So 30-minute blasting off should be going higher. Where's the next high that we're gonna reach for? It's gonna be there. There we go. Cool. Second time for all these lower time frames aligned. Then we drop to the 5, right? Drop to the 5. Drop to the 1. So straight away, I get presented with this trade, IFVG, and I'm like, cool. Looks good, momentum, we took liquidity. Part of my rule says, is it premium discount? No. So I'm like, cool. I'd be a fool to take that. If I lost that, I'd be pissed. So I carried on. If it goes without me, it goes without me. That's just the game, innit? So then I'm like, okay, cool. Let's figure out where this discounted range is. All the while, I'm getting really frustrated. I'm internally, I'm a bit frustrated because I'm like, I think that this might not come back to premium or discount, and I know that trades go without going to the premium discount sometimes, but I have to recognise that that is what gives me confidence in taking a trade, is when it's in premium / discount. So that's what I gotta go with. Like, that's all it is. Speeding up, I find a 5-minute holding, 1 minute holding, 15-minute holding, everything's bullish, but I realised that we haven't took enough liquidity in context to this move. So if that had come down there, wick there, come straight back up, that's a nice trade, but it hasn't. We're just messing around here, and there's nothing for me to get in yet. Alright, so we wait. We get an IFG here. No, it looks alright, but again, same thing, it just doesn't fill me with confidence because we haven't reached the objectives. Like, that was not clear enough for me, and to be honest, hindsight at that point, I could have seen myself taking that, but I guess the thing that saved me there was it an obvious gap or not, and to me it wasn't. 1 minute we inverted, we are below premium, but again, oh actually no, that was it. To me, that we still hadn't took enough liquidity. That was the main factor for that, me not taking that. So I was like, okay, wait, I'm gonna wait. This could go without me, fine, whatever. Then I realised we inverted the 5 down. We're still holding the 15. We inverted the 3 down. We inverted the 1 down. So I'm like, okay, cool. I think that that's gonna go next. But do I take a short to that? No, I don't, because the time frames haven't aligned to that. The 15 is still holding bullish. That's the higher time frame. 5 and 3 say lower. 1 says lower, but that's not enough alignment for me. Right, the 15-minute has the precedent. The 15-minute is the ultimate. So okay, again here, 5 minute here says bearish. Look, we inverted down. We came, swept this liquidity in a higher time frame. We're in a 5-minute bearish gap now, holding that. We want to reject it. Do I then take a trade towards that low? No, because even though that is the 5-minute and the 3-minute draw on liquidity, it's not aligned. It's not an aligned draw on liquidity, right? So we're waiting now. Another 1 minute presents itself. I ignore it because it's too low in the range, too high in the range. Sorry. Then I'm like, okay, cool. 5 minutes now holding. There's a 5-minute gap. We're holding it. Then we invert this 1 minute gap here, and I'm like, this gives me confidence, right? Because as much as the 5 minute is conflicting, the 15 minute says we're going up. 3 minute conflicting as well, but the 3 minute, I think when I check it, it does say we're going up. Look, so we inverted there to the left, but we've just made a bullish gap there. We've also inverted this bearish gap there. So 3 minutes says up, 1 minute says up. It's just the 5 minute that's disagreeing with us. Now 15 minute we are in a gap as well, but think about the higher time frame now. So all the other things align with this 15 minute saying higher. So we're in 50% of this 15 minute going higher. Then it's like, I'm getting really tired of talking about this because I've just done 3 videos, but I'm trying to keep the same energy, but it's kind of difficult now. But basically what I'm trying to say is at this point, this wasn't perfect, but it gave me confidence enough that this should go, because technically the time frames are aligning. We've come down, we've took this as liquidity, and yeah, it wasn't super clean and I didn't catch the bottom. This is another thing, I don't need to just always catch the bottoms. Yeah, we swept that, didn't catch the bottom, yeah, cool, so it's pushing up. Inverted stuff here, going higher, we should be going higher. The next draw on liquidity then technically is this internal high. We're looking bullish. Anyway, long story short, I took the trade. I'm actually getting really tired of talking about this now. It's quite annoying. I'm getting a headache from listening to my own voice. Yeah, I took the trade. Checked all my boxes. Checked that it was premium discount of the internal range as well, which gave me even more confidence. Took the win. Took the break even, sorry. Which was good. And then, yeah, that was it. It did end up just going break even, but that was it. And then recognising that, and then, so straight after that, again, so we started rejecting that gap, right? So instantly carry on playing it out, whatever, realise, okay, we've now inverted this, so 5 minute how inverted this lower, 15 minutes now holding above, 3 minutes holding. So now everything is aligning bearish in the intermediate areas. So higher time frame, yes, we're still going higher, but is there a reason to come lower? Yes, that low. And then the time frames align to say lower. 15 minute look holding, 5 minute holding, 3 minute holding and inverted, 1 minute holding and inverted. Here it doesn't make sense for me to get in on a trade because it's like it's too far away. I could have potentially done it with a loose stop and just took a 1R. I think I checked to see if I would have even got the trade there. But these are some of the ones where I kept missing out on last week because I knew where price was going to go next. It's just, I just thought, you know, it's not even worth taking. But then you realise actually you could have just squeaked a 1R out of it, scraped a 1R out of it. You just don't know. But yeah, this is it really. And then the same with yesterday. I took a trade, same thing. So I was looking for shorts overall. That's what I was waiting for, that the sweep of that high. We didn't get it. Hindsight, maybe we didn't take enough liquidity, but we came up 50% of the range. We slowed down here, made a nice little shape, and then here, like I was saying, it's slightly conflicting but slightly aligned as well. And this is what I need to be a bit more okay with, taking stuff that isn't perfectly aligned, but the alignment makes enough sense to take. So 15 minute was holding, 3 and 5 inverted up, but then they inverted back down. So if this was 15, if this had inverted 3 and 5 up, and then we hadn't got this 3 or 5 inversion back down, I wouldn't have took this if off just a 1 minute inversion down. But because we then inverted the 3 and the 5 back down, I was like, okay, cool, this makes sense. This was the trade on the 1 minute. We kind of chopped here. We'd made a nice little V-shaped thing here, came down. You know, like it started looking good, and I was like, cool, let me get in that, and it won. So yeah, just wanted to talk about that. It's been a long-winded video. It took me ages to make this, but yeah. higher time frame alignment is the key, is what I'm trying to say.